Do you remember when you were a kid how the civil war started in Syria? Do you have any memories of that?
I remember everything in details. Now I'm so glad to mention this while Syria is making a positive step towards the future.
Yeah.
Now we are in the reconstructing and rebuilding a process, which is something gives me hope. And I'm looking forward to go back. However, it comes that time I was talking about what was happening in Syria with so much sadness and with so much pain, because I haven't been to Syria since I left in 2013 with my family. Definitely when the conflict started, it impacted all of us, not only my family but every Syrian, and millions of Syrians were forced to flee their homelands and to find a future in other countries. And it wasn't easy because during the war it was so much going on. We didn't feel safe to go to school. My dad, for example, didn't feel safe to go to his job. We didn't get the necessities. Most of the time they are missing or too expensive to get. And even while we are living in our house, at any moment bombings could happen, fighting around us. So it wasn't safe at all levels, which did force me and my family to take the hard decision and to leave everything behind.
And what did you take with you?
I took my school books, which was really surprising to my dad and to my family, and also now to everyone, because I was in grade 9 at the school, and it was such an important year in terms of the academic education in Syria, because in that year we sat for national exams, and I was studying really hard despite the war and despite the disruption of education during the conflict. However, when my family decided to flee, I felt so sad to leave my education, and I couldn't finish my exams and to finish my school year. So when my dad told us to pack the most important things that we might need on our journey to Jordan, I immediately thought about my school books.
Buenas, hacemos una mini pausa para agradecerte tu apoyo. Para nosotros es muy importante que si te gusta lo que hacemos te suscribas a nuestro canal de YouTube para que podamos seguir creando vídeos. Muchas gracias y seguimos con la entrevista.
And you ended up in Jordan.
Yes.
And where did you go in Jordan?
Za'atari camp. Now it is such a famous camp, and it has hundreds of thousands of people living there, and it is one of the largest camps, I believe, in the world. And many people, I think now they have so much hopes to go back to Syria. But at that time I was there, of course, the camp, it was in emergency situation kind of. It wasn't the best ideal location to live in it. And definitely we had so many challenges. We didn't have, for example, electricity, there was no internet, we had to live in a small tent, getting water, sometimes you have to go and fill up a bucket to bring it for cleaning purposes. We even going to school, it was like a big tent where you share the classroom with many students, and during the winter or even during the summer it wasn't a good condition to study because we didn't have so many facilities. Even I remember one of the subjects we had, it was about computing science, and they were teaching us about the computer. However, we didn't have a computer, so it was a bit funny and sad at the same time. So it wasn't an easy life. However, we did manage, especially when I found the school and it was a quality education. It really has given me the strength to face the challenges and to believe I can reach my goals in life. And I did that to be for every child, because it is not our fault and it is not of our own making to be forced into being refugees. And I didn't I didn't make the war, and I didn't want to suffer, so I deserve to get my rights, and every child does deserve that.
Yeah. And who supported the education in the refugee camp? Do you remember? Or?
Yeah, there were many organizations working in the field. However, UNICEF was one of the key agencies working towards education, and they were not only supporting the academic side, but also doing many campaigns to raise awareness about the importance of education. Even myself, in my early years of my activism work, as a child at the time, I did join UNICEF in many campaigns, and one of them, it was Back to School campaign, which was really impactful, and many children started to come back to education and to classrooms rather than staying in tents or caravans and not continuing their education.
So what was exactly the Back to School campaign?
It was just to go to speak to families about the importance of
within
education.
the refugee camp?
Yes, definitely. So it was within the camp borders,
Right.
because we didn't have so much freedom to travel around.
Yeah.
However, it was what needed to speak to families there, and I was going with UNICEF from 10 to 10 to speak with families, with girls and boys, and to tell them how important it is to take any opportunity to learn, either in the camp or in Syria. And many families, they were saying, oh, because it is the camp, we don't want to send our kids to school, and when we go back to Syria, we will be sending our kids to school. But my reply was very simple. We really don't know when we will go back to Syria. And honestly, since then, we didn't go back to Syria. So imagine a child who was maybe year 1 at the school or grade 1 at the school and didn't go within 13 years. This is a disaster.
Yeah.
So that's why either a camp or in a stable country, education is a priority no matter what.